Dr. Wang, I want to thank you so much for joining us on Bloomberg. What is capturing your attention the most today in artificial intelligence technology?
It is the change the way actually how we're doing things, and actually how we think about things. Okay, so I have a psychology background, so artificial intelligence as a word or even as an area is not new for me. And so when I was in the college students, and we already start to do that. Okay, that was in the early of 80s. Okay, but if you look at the technology at that time, actually technology is in a very shaky stage. Okay, so whenever we're talking about all the AI at that time, and we are talking about what we're talking about the toy problem. So all the questions we try to answer at that time is an articulate answer, or basically it's artificial problem. Okay, so at that time you're thinking about the artificial intelligence to try to solve the artificial problem. Basically, it doesn't mean anything. But today you can see actually the technology is getting real, and the problem we're trying to solve is really the heart. It's a real problem. Okay, so big change is at least from my experience from a shaky technology solve an artificial problem, and we really have a great technology to solve the real problem and the hard problem. That's a big change. Yeah.
You mentioned how AI can also change the way that we think.
Yeah.
How do you see that relationship?
It's actually very direct, okay? And when we're talking about, people talking about like a computing power, and when talking about computing, I will say, okay, we have like 10x times, okay, we're talking about that. But if you're thinking about the time, okay, why, change the way of thinking? And let me put it that way. And if I give you like 1 million times of computing power, you will change the way of doing things, okay? Just like, okay, I'll give you a bike, and you have your own way thinking about how you get from Hong Kong to Shanghai or to Hangzhou. But I give you a car, and you have a different way of thinking how to get there. But if you give it an airplane, that's another story, okay? And so the airplane is our limitation to thinking about how to get from Hong Kong to Hangzhou. But if you give you a rocket, and then it's completely change the way of thinking about how to do things. So I think the computing changed our way of thinking, doing things like that way, okay? Yeah.
Then how does that relate if you're saying that this reaches a point where you're sort of like, if you're talking about transportation routes, and you've gone from walking to the bike to the car to the rocket.
Yeah.
What about then that evolution that people talk about from AI to AGI to ASI, general to super? I mean, is that the right way of thinking about it?
Certainly, I don't like this kind of classification. Okay, so the AI is AI. The only thing we could say that we have AI to super AI, whatever you call super AI is, okay. It just mean the evolution, and it just mean you get more capability. That's it. It's really hard to differentiate them. So just like even for the human growth, okay, we from kindergarten to PhD, actually it's continuum, okay. Certainly your capabilities grow, but it's very hard to really the fundamental difference, okay. Kids have great, learning ability. Okay, that's pretty much seem like you are a PhD student. Okay.
What about the shift to embodied AI? I mean, a lot of companies are getting into humanoid robots. So
yeah.
What's your view?
It's also it's a very interesting phenomenon, I would say, because if you look at AI 30 years ago, not mentioned about 50 years ago, AI is a very specific. I would say it's a very narrowed area. So at that time, AI is AI, natural language is natural language, and the computer vision is computer vision, and the robotics is robotics. That's a different discipline, okay. But today, the AI become a big basket, okay. So the person who work on the natural language say, okay, we're working on AI, which is true today, okay. So I think that you have to make sure the robotics is a robotics, okay. And so what I see is robotics, whether you call robotics is AI or not, I'm not sure. But whatever AI produced could be deployed in the robotics, that's true, okay. And so that's different things. I would say the robotics is a very different field that has fundamental technology is different, and but they need the AI. So it's more like, okay, if the car is a car, and you have the diesel engine before, but today that we have EV cars, okay, and so engine is different. So for me, just the AI provide a different engine for the robotics. That's what I'm thinking about robotics. Okay, yeah.
How do you see China's AI landscape then evolving over the coming months or years?
Yeah, I think that one of the very interesting things for China is we just have the opportunity to explore millions of things. Okay, and people just fascinated about this technology. They are doing a lot of different things. Some, probably most of them will be gone, as I said, in 5 or 10 years. But that's not bad, okay. And just help us to explore these things. That's one thing. The second thing is really about how you view the market in China. So, 30 or 40 years ago, when people talking about the market in China, we're talking about established market. So basically, it's basically a market for you to sell things, okay. That's typical, way we are talking about the market, okay. But my experience working on the Alibaba cloud, I would say the market has a very important function, is how to make a technology mature. So you can test your technology very quickly in the market, okay. So technology will never get matured until go to market. So today, actually, China market has a very, very important, play a very important role, is how to establish new technology and make sure the technology is matured enough, and even as a test bed for the new technology. So market is not a traditional market anymore. It's basically, it's a test bed of all new technology. I think that China could play a very big role of that, yeah.
If though, sometimes, we know the innovation cycle in Chinese AI has been very fast.
Yeah.
But what happens if that slows down? Sometimes I'm hearing concerns, for instance, DeepSeek hasn't released a second reasoning model. Is that something that you need to be worried about?
Let's see, I would say as just like a single organization or single person, you really cannot go that fast for a long time, okay. You collapse, okay. Like, I can work in for 3 days and without any sleep, but not anymore, okay. Not anymore, and you really cannot work 30 days and don't have any sleep, okay. No way you can do that, okay.
Work ethic in China is famous.
But I would say collectively, we can have a very fast iteration, okay. So that's why I really like a stubborn mindset. So basically, DeepSeek could do something very fast, okay. And then we also have Queen, okay. And then we have Kimi, okay. So collectively, and we can push that fast. I think that's okay. Actually, that's what I think it's important. Otherwise, why we need that population, okay. So that's why, when people get together, and it's not just for, competition, whether you win or not. It's basically, you can have the very fast iteration of the technology because of this competition, or because, and you work fast this time, and you slow a bit, and then other guy move very fast, and eventually we slow down a bit. And if you're good enough, you can catch up again. And I don't think it's brutal, but I think it's a very healthy, because, and when we work with the people that is very competitive, that would make you much more competitive, because that was the way how I think the new technology will be invented, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking, I guess, about more of a marathon, not just a sprint race.
Yes.
Is there space, though, for new contestants to enter that race today?
I would say, at least for AI, it's a marathon, because I think nobody could really see, if it's a long journey, it's definitely in the very beginning, okay. So in that sense, any short-term win is not important. And it's not like, again, I want to say, this is a very important judgment. You have to, but I think we have to make that a judgment is, whether any advantage you have today is a barrier for other people to catch up with you, okay? But personally, I didn't see any advantage you have today will become the barrier for other people to catch up with you, okay? It's just an early process to next stage, okay? And so that's why it's very exciting time, for that. Anything that at the early stage, anything that actually everyday new things happen, it's exciting time, especially for youngsters. Okay, yeah.
You mentioned Kimi from Moonshot and Alibaba's own model, DeepSeek. I mean, is there any of the small language models, the large language models that stand out to you in particular in China today?
Actually, I would say there's a lot, and but you really want to get to know by the other people. That's hard. China is really a country that benefits from the stubborn mindset. So I would say if you look at the young people, for at least for the people that I have chance to reach, they have a very good stubborn mindset. Okay, and particularly like in an area like Hangzhou, and also this area, this Yangtze that area. I'm not sure whether you know about some of the saying that in Hangzhou. I don't have the statistics, but it's basically the people talking about. So if you counting the people in Hangzhou, and every 4 or 5 people there is a CEOs. Okay, so it just means people just love to do some things. So it is fascinating, and I think it's still good for the.
I'd love to see that statistic: 1 in 5 on the streets of Hangzhou being a CEO.
Yeah.
No hometown bias for sure. Okay, but when it comes to building an AI model today in China, what's the biggest challenge? And is it on getting it to market and getting that awareness and getting people to use it, or is it more on the building side?
And I would say the creativities, and the reason I said I really think, I have an equation about what's the challenge we have in terms of that. And the people always said, okay, the computing power probably is the barrier for us to do that. Okay. Actually, I don't think at this moment, long term, it is. But at this time, I don't think it is. Okay. So particularly in the last 6 months or 12 months, that's particularly true. That's what I want to say. Is, why I say it's creativity? The foundation model from Queen and from DeepSeek are good enough. They are already much better than GPT 4.0. Okay, so we really need to find some people that with creativity to write the application for that. And so today I would say we are, in terms of application, we are so much biased by OpenAI. Because everybody saw the chat GPT is the only application that we can think about. So basically, I would say there's much more a scenario we're thinking about and building an application that with the skill, just like chat GPT, that would be there. So the number one is really find the right application for that. Yeah.
I'm taking a look at the book here that you wrote about also the journey around on Alibaba Cloud and your vision for the business. And the foreword is written by Jack Ma.
Yeah.
And he says that the first time he met you, he was shocked by your vision of the future of internet technology, and also that he wished that you'd met earlier. What I find interesting, though, is that you actually had to convince him and others at Alibaba that the cloud was the right business.
Yeah, because, fundamentally, I would say, the cloud business is very different from internet business. Fundamentally, okay. So, but thinking about, almost 20 years ago, the the core internet mindset is everywhere, okay? So for the cloud computing, it's not that fit in that sense. That's one thing. The second is, cloud computing is very different in terms of business. I always say to my colleagues, I'm very lucky to working on it. The first is a technology. Not like any other business, they start with the business, and technology just help the business, okay? But the cloud computing, not that case. So you have to have the technology first. That's the key. So it's a technology. The second, not every technology could become the business, okay? Actually, I always say only 1% technology could be a business. So actually 90% technology, just technology, okay? So we're very lucky, okay, it's a business. And more important, it's a lasting business. So thinking about a lot of business, have this life cycle, every 10 years, you have to thinking about another opportunity, okay? But cloud computing is a very good business. It could last for another 50 or 100 years, okay? Because the computing is so fundamental. So when we use an analogy about between the electricity and the computing, it means a lot of things, okay? So electricity is a lasting business. It will be there for another 100 years, okay? So that's the hard part for the people to really understand. So at the very beginning, it is hard, yeah.
Do you think that you knew, though, when you were starting it, that it would become the key growth pillar that it is today? I mean, it started as sort of a support to e-commerce. Today, this is one of the brightest spots of the company.
I can't say that actually I have a prediction. Today, actually, the AI is the big customer of the cloud computing, okay? I can't say I have that prediction, okay? But at that time, I'm sorry that I didn't expect the AI is coming so soon. Okay, I'm sorry to say that. Okay, yeah, but I do believe that they will be coming soon. Okay? They will coming, but it's too good for me. Okay, yeah, but I do believe that actually it is a good business, and because of internet. So you can see there's very interesting. If there's no internet, there was no business like cloud computing. But there's one thing, that's actually what I put in this book, is the internet bring the data together. So it's not a traditional business, okay? Traditional doesn't bring the data together. The internet brings the data together. And so I truly believe that the data will change fundamentally for us to doing the business, okay? But what I didn't realize is the data combine the model that actually creates something called AI and change the way of doing business. Okay, that's the thing. So we created the data, but we failed to realize earlier that actually, when computing data together with the model, then actually change the way that we're doing the business. Yeah.
It was a really tough challenge for you. I think that people sometimes maybe just brush over the fact, like starting a whole cloud business from scratch when it didn't exist in China at that time. And there was obviously a handful of companies in the US doing it. I know you looked to some of them for inspiration, but what were the biggest challenges that you faced?
First of all, I want to say how lucky I am. Okay. So how lucky I am. Believe it or not, okay. I never wrote a business proposal for Alibaba Cloud.
Really?
Yeah. So that basically means you have no way to write a business proposal.
Well, okay? No wonder you had pushback.
Yeah. No. That basically means you have no way to write a business proposal. Okay. So personally, I don't like business proposal. So when they're talking about innovation, I don't like business proposal. Okay. Personally, again, so that's why I said I'm very biased. So basically, there's no way you can write business proposal. So the only way you can do that is don't write that, okay? that's one thing, okay.
I can see why people had issues with it internally.
Yeah, that's what I'm very lucky, okay. So if you're talking about how hard it is everybody thinks they are doing the cloud business, okay. So even within Alibaba, okay. And because it was so new, and you really cannot tell what it is, okay. So that's very challenging. But certainly, I think again, I'm very lucky, and when I started this, and the internet China is booming, And we have Starbucks, okay. So actually, the first money I got is actually about the Starbucks, okay. Yeah, that was really memorable, yeah. So that's why I love the small companies. Yeah, I love the person that don't have anything. That was mentality, you know.
But I think something that we see right now is certainly money that's being directed at strong talent.
Yeah.
And there's stories, of course, in Silicon Valley we see of people that are getting hundreds of millions of dollars. And what do you think about that?
I think it's. I don't think it's the, let's see. It's a typical way of doing things. Okay, I would say that. The reason is very simple. You know, with our own example, when I started the Alibaba Cloud, you know, the first thing I did, that was in 2008. The first I did to visit the Silicon Valley, and to try to get talent. Okay. And after talking to all the people, and you realize actually we don't have much talent there because it's new.
Okay.
So, and also with some of the talent, it's just too expensive. Okay. And too expensive basically means, okay, you don't know whether the competence is there. Why need to hire these people? So it's really about innovation. So when you are in the early stage of innovation, I don't think talent is a problem, because the only thing you need to do is to get the right person, not really the expensive person. Because if it's a new business, if it's true innovation, that basically means it's talent. Nobody cares about them. Okay, otherwise you're going to working on that. So for today, what happened for the Meta is because they are very much focused on the existing success of the business and existing establishment of technology. That's my view. Okay, so I think we have a tremendous opportunity to look at technology nobody knows today, and these are talent, but these are. I can't say it's cheap, but it's available for you. Okay. So that's really about the vision, where you want to go. And there's a lot of similar things, happened during the last 20 years also. Whenever everybody knows that these are talent, and it's better for you not to get in. And at least that's not new. That's my so like personally that I hired Zhejiang. Now he's the leader for the Queen. Okay, you probably met him, when you were in Hangzhou. I personally interviewed him. 15 years ago, and we got talent. Now he's leading the Queen. Yeah, but so that's.
So there's not really any justification, then it sounds like you think for such huge salaries.
So I think that's not what the I'm sorry, what happened in Silicon Valley is not the winning formula. That's what I believe. Yeah.